I'm going to be recording this too, so the people that who won't be able to join will be able to watch this later. So I didn't get any other really responses. There's 8 people in this, so it looks like just 3 of us might be on tonight. So I think we'll get started. We got a little bit to cover, and I was going to talk for about an hour or so. But these are meant to be, really, interactive. So if you have any questions along the way, or you want to cover like different, we can definitely take time to do that. So I have kind of a loose agenda. So today I just wanted to talk about, just welcome you guys to the program, and then talk about any technical difficulties you've been having, if any, getting any of the resources from the members area, and then also talk about just intro to 14ers. So does that work for both of you tonight?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. Do you guys want to just do a quick introduction, and then I'll give an introduction about myself so you know who I am, and then when we meet in person next, it'll be great. So Sherry, you want to start?
Sure. I had just moved to Colorado and enjoy the mountain biking, climbing, backpacking, and decided 14ers would be fun. Another little sport that I can't do without.
Yep. I hear you. Okay. And do you want to go ahead?
Yeah. So I have been in Colorado forever. It feels like 20-something years, maybe. I'm originally from the East Coast, and just kind of start now re-entering into a lot of different things, like getting back into hiking and camping and rafting. And so this was a great opportunity to kind of get back at it. I've done a bunch, years ago when I traveled around the world. I did some hiking in Nepal and some long hikes in New Zealand, and just haven't in quite a long time. So I'm psyched to get back at it.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely have some good hikes together, I think, and I'm definitely looking forward to hiking a 14er with you guys. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So.
For sure.
Okay, cool. Let me just get this going here. And like I said, this is completely interactive. So if there's stuff on here that, since there's only 3 of us, if there's stuff on here that, is just way too basic for you, let's, move, talk about something. But if this is good, we'll just keep going. So, all right, cool. So yeah, welcome to the 14ers program. I am the guy on the left in the green shirt. Me and my buddy Ben, my climbing partner Ben, summited the Crestone Needle, Ellingwood Ledges, which is Sherry. It's a 5.7. Awesome climb. Hopefully you'll be someday. Sounds like it's well within your wheelhouse right now anyway. So basically just want to go through, why I started the program, dig into the schedule and details, and then also talk about, any technical issues that you guys are having, and make sure I walk through the members area and everything. And then, talk about benefits for you, and then, of course, my guarantee. And it looks like somebody else joined too. So I'll just keep going, though, and then we can break here in a second. So let me see if I can advance my slides. All right. So for those of you who don't know, I was born and raised in Buffalo, New York, so I know that East Coast feel. I was always interested in the outdoors growing up, but there really wasn't much to do in Buffalo. And in my senior year in college, I read a book called Thin Air. And if you've never read that book, I suggest you do. It's pretty amazing. And so I really started thinking about climbing and hiking and that. And then I started reading more about the Colorado 14ers and got really entranced and fixated, and especially a peak called Long's Peak, which I'll be talking a lot about. And then I finally got the courage and moved in 2006 and started exploring. And my biggest problems, and you guys are going through this too, is I really had no idea what I was doing when I moved out here. I knew nothing about mountains. I almost got killed a number of times. Lightning, hypothermia, snowfields. Almost got rocks kicked down on me by goats. And I spent thousands of dollars on gear and wasted hundreds of hours on getting lost and turned around. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to help you guys out a lot of those things, solve a lot of those things for you. So what really, culminated is I climbed Long's Peak. It's called the Diamond on Long's Peak, but I climbed it way too early in my kind of climb career. And for those of you who don't know Long's Peak, it's a 14er, northernmost 14er in Colorado. It's Rocky Mountain National Park. And me and my climbing partner, there was a series of errors, and I basically got stuck on the and I had to spend a very cold 36 hours on the mountain overnight with no gear. Definitely almost died. There was rain, there was snow. It was an incredibly miserable experience. So we definitely don't want that to happen. And so basically years passed by, and I became more of an expert in the backcountry. I reclimbed Long's Diamond a number of times. Climbed all the 14ers, a lot of them by their most difficult routes. I backpacked all over the country and climbed international. I teach backpacking classes and 14er classes. I'm the founder of the meetup group Front Range Explorers, and I also have my own company called Outdoor Buyers Club. So I test a lot of gear, I did apparel, and I finally became, very, very confident in this. But the problem, I'm still seeing people make the same mistakes that I did. And, injuries are, people are definitely dying in the mountains still. People are getting lost, or they're getting so miserable on their first climb that they just quit. And that really just kind of breaks my heart. So I just really want to help, new people especially, or people who have just moved here, really get their feel in the mountain. And then I definitely want to help out with gear too. And if you guys need gear selections, like there's a lot out there, really trying to prevent people getting, ripped off by gear. And then what I found is that there's not really a single place where you can find all the safety information, education, in one area. So I'm putting the members area, and I'm having these calls and meetups with just a small number of people. So so we can get that message out a little bit more. So that's kind of where we are there. And it looks like 2 other people joined. Who else joined? And can you hear me okay? No response. Okay. Can the rest hear me? Can the rest of you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can hear you too.
Awesome. Okay. I got a message saying audio is out for them. Well, I'll keep going here. Okay. So basically, this 14ers program, it's not just about the summit, I always say. It's really, I want to teach you guys to, have fun in the outdoors, make sure you get yourself fit enough to climb these 14ers and just have a lot of fun. And I also want to bring, you guys all together, and so we can have fun as a group. And I want to just create a safe place for everybody to learn in the mountains. And I definitely want to save planning. So a lot of the resources that I've put together, like my checklist and everything, and guides to these hikes, will save you guys tons of time planning. At least that's the thought. So that's why I am doing all this. And my other hobbies, just so you know, I love rock climbing. I'm a rock climbing fan. I go a couple times a week. I love skiing and backcountry skiing. I have the 5 mountain pass, but I also backcountry, and I love mountain biking. So I try to do as much as I possibly can in Colorado, with the exception of sports. I'm not a big water sports guy, but you don't have time to do everything, right? So, okay. Any questions so far, or thoughts, comments?
No, it sounds good so far.
Okay, awesome. And I will do why. Let's see. Viewer 3, viewer 4. They're all muted, and I don't understand why. Let's see. Wait a second. I think you guys have to. Did you have to unmute yourself, or do you know what you did?
I had a little.
No, I didn't.
Asked me if I wanted to do a phone call or if I wanted to do it through my computer, and I said computer.
Okay. That's really weird.
And I'm just on my phone. It didn't ask me to mute or anything.
Okay. Well, we'll keep going here, and then hopefully I can get out to everybody. Send me a message and let me know if you guys still can't hear. We'll figure it out. Okay, so basically this is kind of the training program itself. So basically what I do every week is do one of these webinars, with the exception of next week. And what I'd like to do is get everybody together and do an in-person gear packing, sorting, and planning type class. So just make sure you guys have the right gear, and then we can also talk about how to plan for 14ers and all the other hikes and things like that. So so this basically runs six weeks. So every Wednesday I'd like to do some sort of webinar, and then we send you guys off on your own to do 2 prescribed hikes that I have, and each one of those hikes basically increases. And they're really cool hikes. They're classic hikes. They're very scenic. They'll bring you to different parts of Colorado. And doing hikes will really get you fit enough and get you, trained up to do the Group 13er and Group 14er hike. So this Group 13er hike takes place on July 8th, and the 14er hike takes place on July 15th. So hopefully that will work for everyone. Is there anybody that has any issues with those time frames, or have any specific questions or high-level questions with this?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Awesome. Okay, cool. And the topics, I want to cover, and what I'm going to try to do is, in the members area, you guys are going to see some recordings, and I'm going to try to just a number of recordings about different, some safety aspects, when to use trekking poles, when to use microspikes. So some of those were questions that we had in the surveys. So I'm going to just try to load this thing up with as much information as possible. You guys can just, go to the members area and look through that at your leisure, and then bring specific questions on Wednesday calls. So these Wednesday calls, we're going to have a purpose. Week 3 will be all about safety. So we'll focus on, I'll have a presentation for safety, but definitely come prepared with or anything like that. So that's the goal there. Okay. Another couple things. So this gets into kind of the hikes type stuff. We do have a private Facebook group, and Sherry, I think you're the only one that jumped on that so far. So it was in emails, a link to that. It's called 14er training program if you look on Facebook. But I was hoping that we could use that as kind of a platform to bounce questions off there and coordinate and things like that. If you haven't joined that, please do. And it's private, so no one else is going to be able to jump in there. It's basically a safe place to ask whatever question you want. And then if you are in the need of gear, I have a couple wholesale deals on certain products. And so if you need a CamelBak or certain type of backpack, definitely check with me first, because I get on all sorts of things. And I'll make sure so you get the right gear. But if you do need a CamelBak, for instance, that's something I can get for you for fairly cheap. And then, like I said before, 24/7 access to the members area. Have you guys gotten on the members area and played around with it at all? Do you have any feedback or anything that you had trouble with?
I did not have any troubles.
Okay. Did you find
I
any?
haven't gotten on yet. I will.
Okay.
The only
Sorry.
thing I saw on there were the hikes for this week. I did not see the trails or the hikes for the following week.
Yeah, those will be. I'm going to be putting those up. And Sherry, for instance, if you think those are too easy for you, I can adjust and I can put some more hikes on there. For instance.
Yeah, I'm going to skip one of them and just go right to the one at higher elevation. See how that goes, and then see if I can just go ahead and jump ahead to some of the other hiking.
Okay. Well, just shoot me a message on Facebook, and
Okay.
I can get you trust me, I've hiked all over the place, so I can get you just pretty much any hike you want to get to. I can
Okay.
give you pretty specific directions, and I can do some pretty cool places, I think.
Okay.
So let me know. For everyone else, I would definitely recommend that you guys follow that if you can. So why don't I actually, now that we're talking about this, why don't I actually jump in to the members area and show you guys? So basically, this is the members area, and you have a unique login, which I sent via email, so you should be able to jump into this. But the training hikes, like I was talking about, I'm going to be adding to these every week. One is Bill Couch Mountain, which is in Deer Creek Canyon, and hike 2 is Windy Peak in Golden Gate State Park. So if you guys have never been to those places, they're absolutely amazing places to go to. These hikes are like 7,000 to 9,000 feet, so they're perfect beginner type hikes. But if you need additional hikes, I'm happy to do that. So definitely check this out. I think it's well worth your time. Another really important thing here is the 14ers checklist. So I have a small video on this, but you can also go here and download it as well. So this is something we'll cover here in a minute. But there's all downloads in here. You guys should definitely take advantage of that. So, okay. All right. So let's go. Yeah. So, and then just, my guarantee, you guys did pay money for this. And I want to make sure that you really enjoy yourselves. And if you don't for any reason, I'm happy to refund your money. No questions asked. But my guarantee to you is you will definitely have fun, especially if you go on all these training type hikes. They're awesome. You get more fit, and you will be able to acclimate, and you will summit a 14er if you follow everything in here. I can guarantee you that. And then also, it's really important to be safe and self-reliant in the mountains, and that's all I have for everyone. So between all these trainings and all the questions that you ask, and the group hikes, and the meeting on the next week, you should be right where you are, right where you need to be within 6 weeks or so. And again, I want to save as much time as possible for each one of you. And then, like I said, you can ask 24/7. You can ask questions, and I'm happy to answer any of those. So, okay. Questions so far? Comments? Thoughts? Is this what you guys expected? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Yeah, great.
I'm hearing some more muffling noises. I'm not sure if people. Well, I'll just keep going. They're still on mute, it looks like. Okay, so basically, so in this first part, I wanted to go just the basics of 14ers, because just so we're all on the same page. So this is the basic level type stuff. So, like I said, just feel free to jump in with questions, and if this is way too basic for you, we can switch topics. So, and this is just a couple slides, so hopefully we can end with some Q&A afterwards. But a 14er is obviously any mountain that rises above 14,000 feet. For those of you who know, there's 96 peaks in the U.S. that are rated 14,000 feet. I consider 58 in Colorado. Some people consider 53, but technically there are 58 peaks over 14,000 feet, and that's the type that I like to go by. People that say that they're only 53, use the foot rule of prominence, which means that one mountain isn't higher than the next one by 300 feet. But whatever on is the list that you should choose. So if you want to do all the 14ers, awesome. If you want to just 14ers, that's fine too. If you want to just do easier ones, that's all good. I have a spreadsheet that will show you exactly ones you can do based on difficulty, and I'll bring that up in a second. And then a lot of people check out the 3,000 foot rule. You don't climb a mountain, quote unquote, unless you 1,000 feet. I don't agree with that, and I don't think you guys should either. It's all about the experience. But you might hear people say that, so just a word in there. Okay, so this is really fun. So this is where this map is where all the 14ers are in the. And even if you don't want to climb the 14ers, I would suggest. I mean, these areas are absolutely amazing where the 14ers are lying. Like, obviously there's Denver area, but if you go down to the San Juans, which is in like West Colorado, even if you don't want to climb any of those peaks, it's an amazing place to visit. The geology is incredible. There's amazing small towns. So even if you don't climb these, definitely go check out the areas. Lisbon is beautiful. Sangres are beautiful. Everything is really nice. And the geology around Colorado is incredibly diverse. Each area has a different type of rock. So basically, there's a couple different ranges. The Front Range spans from basically Estes Park all the way down to Colorado Springs, so that includes Long Peak, Mount Evans, and Pikes Peak. Those are the three major ones. As you move west towards Leadville, you have the 10 Mile and Mosquito Range, so you have Quandary Peak and Democrat Bross. So these are relatively easy type mountains, and if you go west towards Vail, so it stretches from Vail all the way down to Salida. That's called the Sawatch Range. And you have mountains you have Mount Albert, which is the highest mountain in Colorado, and all the way down to Chavano and down to the south near Salida. And all of these mountains are characterized by, fairly easy peaks. So if you just do the Sawatch Range and most of the Front Range, the exception of Long's Peak, those are fairly easy to all climb, beginner type climbs. Now, as you move west towards the Elk Range in Aspen, these are some of the most dangerous mountains in Colorado. So they're characterized by bells, or people call the Deadly Bells. So a lot of loose rock, very, very jagged mountains, very imposing looking mountains. These are definitely more advanced type mountains. So if you're not used to type of terrain, definitely build up to it. But Aspen, if you've never been, is just a gorgeous place. And as you move south towards the San Juans, it's definitely the largest area of mountains and the most spread out. And they have a bag. Some are very easy, some are very difficult, and a lot of them are remote. But beautiful area nonetheless. And as you move, counterclockwise, Sangre de Cristos, which is a completely different geology altogether. It's a conglomerate, and you have peaks like the Crestone Peak, Crestone Needle, very difficult climbs. And you also have which is way down south, further south, that you actually have to pay to go on. So inverse mountains, all relatively straightforward to access, and worst comes to worst, just visit a town. All right, so this is where I'll bring up the 14er spreadsheet, and I'll be referring to this a lot. But has anybody downloaded this yet, or no?
I did.
Okay, cool. Did you play around with it at all, or?
I actually have the guidebook.
Which one?
The one that's real popular.
Jerry Roach?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I was actually going to bring that in next week. So, this is I've been working on this list for, 10 plus years, and this is basically I've climbed just about every route on here, and by the most difficult. So this is my recommended climbs for each peak. So basically this had all the 14ers, and then my ranking. So if you want how to use Excel at all, if not, I can show you. You can basically sort all of these features. So you can look up all the class 1, for example, and start there, or all the class 4 routes and start there. So whatever you want to do. And also this has an interactive feature that links to Google Maps. So all you got to do is click on one of these, and it'll bring you to Google Maps, to the trailhead. It'll just map out your drive. But basically, this is all the mountains. They're overall ranked difficult. 1 being the easiest, so that's Quandary Peak, which I think is the easiest, all the way to 58, which is the hardest. It's got the recommended summit, the class, the exposure, the danger factor, which I've kind of made up on my experience. And then I think, the two most important stats to be, watching when you're planning is the round trip mileage and the elevation gain. And round trip mileage, just so we're all on the same page, is from your car to the summit back to your car. A lot of people put mileage down in just one way, but that's kind of so definitely pay attention. And then actually equally important, or even more so important, is elevation gain. So if you have actually a lot of the times when you have longer approach and shorter amount of elevation gain, those are actually easier than the opposite, if that makes sense. So when anything over feet is a pretty significant day. So just keep an eye on that. And then I also put the most adventurous routes. So when you guys are ready, definitely take a look at these routes. They're pretty incredible. If there is rock climbing options, I put those in here. And then I also put in the class, the crowd level, relatively speaking. Keep in mind, 14ers are all pretty popular, but there are some that are definitely, you can find some solitude on. And then four-wheel drive option. That a lot of people ask me. A lot of people ask the question, what kind of do you need? So I put in a column here for four-wheel drive versus non-four-wheel drive. This is a quick reference to see if if you drive a Honda Civic, for example, you could probably make it to a lot of these to some of the trailheads. And my overall rating of each peak, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, or I guess you would say. And then I'm working on another spreadsheet actually, and another guide for near all these bonus peaks. So these are definitely well worth checking out if you're in the area and you have some extra time to do. I don't know. I think this is a pretty comprehensive spreadsheet. Also, Jerry Roach's book is also a great complement to this. Between these two, it'll be pretty helpful, I think. So, yeah, Sherry, any thoughts? You dug through a little bit.
I looked at it a little bit. It was a little overwhelming. I kind of like how you put some of this stuff on here because I've gone on some hikes and I found it was one way. And if I wasn't fit, that would have been a problem.
Okay.
So, yeah, I find your spreadsheet helpful.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah, so just download it and and then I try to iterate this every once in a while. So if I find like a new route or I'll keep adding to this basically. So that is that. Let's see here. All right. Second here. Okay. All right. So the skills that you need to climb all 50 14ers, and like I said, you don't need to climb all of them, but if you do want to climb all of them, these are the level type things that you'll need experience with, or technique and things like that. I'll dive into each one of these in a lot more detail, either in the trainings or we can discuss group or whatever. But basically, you want to be fit to do these. It's way more enjoyable. And if everything else fails, if you get lost, if it starts to rain, the weather goes south, at least you're fit and you can get yourself out of it. So these training hikes are really critical to succeed with 14ers. You want to get mileage in on your legs. You want to experience elevation gain, things like that. And then mental toughness. So I'll use Longs for example. So Longs is 15 round trip with about 1,000-foot elevation gain, and it's on class 3 type terrain. So you cannot wake up at morning and expect to safely summit Longs and come back just because of the amount of clouds and because of the weather rolling in, which I'll cover in detail. So a lot of these longer climbs, you wake up at 2 in the morning. So you're getting up in the morning, you have a headlamp on, it's cold, maybe you didn't get your coffee. So you have to have some mental toughness too. And then you have to have climbing technique. And this applies to, in class 4 and class 5 stuff. But when you do get into that arena, you have to have a certain technique, and we can talk about that. And then, experience. And that's where I come in to help. So when we're actually climbing the 13, 14er, we'll be able to talk about orienteering. We'll be able to talk about weather, and you'll be able to do that in real time. And so just experience overall will help. And then survival skills. You need to know how to at least have the right gear to spend the night. So we'll go through that in detail, and I'll show you my survival kit and everything else. And then, like I said, navigation skills, because inevitably you will get lost at some point. So you know how to use a map and compass. I really don't like relying on digital, anything digital. I like to have a map and compass with me. And so we'll kind of go through those skills. So those, again, are the high-level skills, and we'll drill into those a little bit later. And then another question that people ask me is, when is the best time, or what's the best season to go hiking, or whatever. So instead of answering, because everybody has different objectives, I'll just tell you the different conditions of each month, and then you can decide kind of when you want to go based on that. So in general, and you'll notice that this is a very heavy snow year. So, it's not always a rule. It's kind of a thumb, I guess. But in general, December and March are the snowiest conditions in Colorado. If you're going to go and try 14ers during this time, mandatory avalanche classes are needed and mandatory flotation devices are needed. So what happens is it'll snow, and then you'll be looking on and seeing that the trail or the mountain is like 4 miles round trip. Well, in reality, because of four-wheel drive roads, it's going to be more like 16 miles round. So you can up in hiking shoes, even hiking boots. You need to have specialized gear. So avalanche classes, you need shoes and skis, mandatory gear, obviously, since it's so snowy, and then you need to be to spend the night. And that's generally from December until March. And then April through June, conditions rise a little bit, but you definitely still need microspikes, crampons, and an ice axe, depending on where you go. For example, I hiked Sopris, Mount Sopris, Aspen the other day, and there was waist deep snow in places. So that snow is still definitely out there. So you have to take these safety devices for sure, and you have to be prepared to stay overnight. And again, avalanche classes are recommended. The snow stabilizes a bit, but there's still definitely some chance of avalanche there. And by the way, this is the best time to ski too. So conditions are still pretty good for that. And then July through October, probably the most popular time to hike, especially in August is probably the prime time. And that's where most of the snow is gone. You'll definitely still need a helmet. Sometimes you'll need a ice axe, microspikes, depending on the condition. But this is by far the best quote-unquote time to hike if you're just starting out. In November is a mixed bag completely. It could be nice. It could be 4 feet of snow. So this is where I typically take a month off and go rock climbing or mountain biking. So that's that. And then just for acclimatizing, 14,000 feet. Like I said, keep your fitness up. If you can't, for whatever reason, get away to do these hikes, make sure you're doing something. Make sure you're running, you're walking, you're doing something about stretching, strengthen your legs, and then I'll go into eating as well. But make sure you don't want to just pour in a bunch of sugar. It doesn't help. So eat balanced meals, supplements, and along with that, make sure you have right gear. So if you're going out on these hikes and you're noticing that your footwear is on like a 3 to 4 mile hike, it's going to be miserable for you on a 14er. So make sure your footwear and packs are properly fitting at least. And then make sure you stay above 11,500 feet because you generate more cells. So those are just some keys to acclimatizing. Like I said, is Bill Couch Mountain with a bonus of Plymouth Mountain and also Indy Peak. So those are the things I wanted to cover this week. Do you guys have any questions, or is I guess I'll open up to you guys.
Go ahead, Sherry.
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I'm going to check out all that stuff and download some things and I've been out of town and I'm up at my dad's now. So once I get back into town, I'm going to kind of get after it. And it sounds all great stuff. I'm excited.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. I'm definitely excited to see where you guys end up for sure. And then I will send out the meeting location early next week. It's going to be around the tech center area where we'll meet, maybe a little bit north of that. Hopefully that's agreeable to most people. And then again, mark off July 7th and July 8th for those hikes, because those are going to be the big dates and really what you guys are probably looking to do. So yeah, if there's no more questions, I will stop the recording and I will put it on the members area. For those who couldn't hear for whatever reason, or couldn't get through, I apologize, and we'll figure out that issue next time. So Okay. By the way, is everybody good for meeting next week?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
So bring your stuff. I plan to get like a room or something like that where we can kind of spread out. I'm going to bring all of my gear basically and some overnight stuff, and we can just compare notes and go from there. All right.
That's
All
great.
right.
Cool. Well, it's nice meeting
Thank
everyone.
you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys. You guys have a great night, and we will we'll meet it. We'll talk soon. And don't forget to join the Facebook page too, so we can get some conversation too. So, all right.
All right.
Awesome. Yep.
Thank you all.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care.